Los detalles más pequeños son los que llenan el alma, incluso cuando todo está confuso y nada está claro. Entonces respiras, porque sabes que puedes seguir, que poco a poco todo se entiende cuando empiezas a ver los pequeños detalles del idioma. In the first video of this series, we spoke about how native speakers join words by joining syllables, by joining vowels. I'll leave here the link so you can see it. For example, poco a poco would be poco a poco. In the second part of the video, I'm going to talk about the words that most often are reduced or compressed or shortened. These words are common and do the same across all the accents of Spanish. And so in this video, I'll show you examples from Argentina, Colombia, Mexico, Chile, Panama, Spain. Hola a todos, ¿qué tal? If you're new here, thank you for being here and welcome. I invite you to subscribe, to hit that bell button so you don't miss any of my weekly sessions. And I also send a bi-weekly newsletter that comes with an audio so you can hear me speaking Spanish and practice. Okay, let's get to work. It's going to work like this. I will say a word that I've seen reduced really often. Then I'll show you each example from different people, from different places. I'll break down the pronunciation and then we'll find a common way in which this word is usually reduced, okay? All these words that I'm going to show are words that tend to be reduced in spontaneous speech. So you probably won't hear that in scripted speech, in an audiobook or in a poem or something like that. It's more like in spontaneous speech. There are way more words that tend to be reduced, and also in different dialects they reduce one word more than in another one. But here I'm just gonna focus on these 5. I'm gonna show you how they are actually pronounced, and I'm gonna give you tips for then finding these words and understanding them when you hear them in spontaneous speech. The goal for this video is that you recognize these words when you hear them, not necessarily that you start speaking like that, because these are factors that happen because of the speed of the language, and speed comes with practice. Okay, let's start with the word todo, o toda, o todos, or todas. This word means everything or all of the whatever. And it's so common, we don't need to fully articulate it in order to understand it, okay? So let's start with examples. We'll start with one from Argentina. I'll play it first in fast speed.
Bueno, hay gente que me sigue toda la vida.
Now, I'll play it a bit slower.
Bueno, hay gente que me sigue toda la vida, me sigue toda la vida.
He's saying toda la vida. But instead of saying toda la vida, he's saying toda la vida. Saying toda la vida, it's really common. It's like it goes together, you know? So you don't have to say toda la vida. You can just say toda la vida. Okay, second example from Argentina.
Sí, no, toda la noche no pongo.
Actually, here,
Toda la noche no pongo.
what he's saying here is todas las noches. But because Argentinian has this characteristic of dropping the last S, for example, in noches, he says noche, noche, noche. And he does this kind of H sound, see if you can notice it.
Toda la noche no, toda la noche no, toda la noche no.
Toda la noche lo pongo. First, because of the Argentinian accent, he drops the S's. Then because it's also really common, todas las noches, every night, then it's something that you can also just like say really smushed together and you can still understand. Toda la noche.
Para explicarles a todos y todas.
Okay.
Todos y todas. Todos y todas.
What she's saying here is todos y todas. Para explicarles a todos y todas. To explain everyone. For todos, she just says dos. And for todas, she says todas. Todas. Now let's see this example from Spain.
Tenemos toda esta comida al mercado, ¿vale? Toda esta comida. Toda esta comida.
So he's saying toda esta comida, all this food. Okay, instead of toda esta comida, toda esta comida. Toda esta comida. Toda esta comida. Another one from Spain.
Cuando tú creas, pues todo está, pues todo está, pues todo está.
So instead of saying todo está, she's saying todo está. Pues todo está, todo está, todo está. In both of these examples, none of them are saying the E from esta comida or está. So the E has disappeared. This is another example of what I said in the first video of this series about joining vowels. Again, you can watch this video after. It's a good one. Okay, let's go with Mexico.
Todo este es madre, todo este es madre, todo este es madre.
So he's saying todo este desmadre, but instead of todo este, tu este desmadre, all this mess. And another one.
Me dijo todas las películas que había visto. Me dijo todas las películas que...
So he's saying todas las películas, all the movies, todas las películas, instead of todas las películas. Here he removed the S from todas, which is really common when you have todas las. What pattern do we see here with the word todo or toda? First, the D, never there. The D is not there. Toala, tola, tos, todas, toasta, tosta. I think that's the most characteristic thing that you can see that it's in common. Within all the regions, all the ways they say it, the D is not there. Why? Because it's an approximant sound. And so when you speak really fast, you barely touch, you barely finish touching. And so toda, it's like toda. Not toda, but toda. This lesson comes with a downloadable where you will find a clip of what I said just at the beginning in Spanish, so you can then try to find the words that I'm going to say in that, and you can just analyze it and practice with it. And you'll also be able to see all the audios that I'm going to show you. So you can just go to the description and download it from there. Next up, we're going with the word nada. Nada, the opposite of todo. This word also has a D within vowels, so really likely that this D is going to be dropping. Okay? Let's hear an example from Argentina.
Es muy simple. Si nada te la genera, si nada te la genera, si nada te la genera.
So she's saying si nada te la genera, if nothing generates it. Si nada te la genera. But instead of saying nada, she's saying na. Si nada te la genera. Again, dropping the D. Chile.
No pillo nada mejor que hacer las cimarras.
Okay, this one is a hard one.
No pillo nada mejor que hacer las pillo nada mejor que hacer.
So what she's saying here is nada mejor que hacer. Nada mejor que hacer. Nada mejor que hacer. Okay, not nada mejor, nada mejor. Again, same as in the example of Argentina, we just dropped the D and said it straight away. Colombia.
Absolutamente nada. Absolutamente nada.
Okay, so what she did here is instead of saying absolutamente nada, absolutely nothing, what she's saying is absolutamente nada. Nada. So she's saying like two as, but the first one, na, and the second one, ah. Absolutamente nada. Let's hear it again. Nada. Here, being from Colombia, it's really common to make the D's really open. So nada. Okay, let's go with the word pues. This is a favorite word in Mexico and in Spain as well. We say it a lot. It's one of these words that you just say, even if it doesn't mean anything or if it doesn't improve your sentence, you just say it, okay? It's like so. It means so, but we say it a lot, okay? Let's start with Mexico. México.
Y dice, pues sí te pareces.
Okay. Slower now.
Y dice, pues sí te... Y dice, pues sí te pareces.
Okay. Here he's saying y me dice, but he's saying mise, another thing that happens, but I'll speak about that in another video. He's saying, pues sí te pareces. Well, yeah, you look like him. So, pues sí te pareces. So he's not saying, pues sí te pareces. He's saying, pues sí te pareces. Pss. Okay? You'll hear this a lot if you start paying attention on how and how people say pues, or if you just hear ps, it's pues, okay? Pues si te pareces, okay? Next one.
Porque pues yo viví muchas veces eso.
Okay, slower.
Porque pues yo viví muchas... Porque pues yo viví...
Okay, so here he's saying porque pues yo viví muchas veces, because I lived many times, but he added this pues, porque he could have said porque yo viví muchas veces, but he said porque pues yo viví. Is a way of emphasizing it, I think. Porque pues yo viví. But what happens here? Because he has the yo, and it makes this y sound, porque pues yo. If you had to do the ps yo, it would be a weird ps yo, like a weird sound. You just merge it all and say ps yo. Porque pues yo, porque pues yo. Check it out.
Y muchas veces. Porque pues yo viví muchas...
Porque pues yo viví muchas veces, porque pues yo viví muchas veces, ¿ok? Yo. Another ps.
Pues sí, nos gusta Luis Gerardo. Pues sí, nos gusta Luis Gerardo, pero... Pues sí, pues...
And here the pues is not even in like smushed in between words. It's just at the beginning. He's gonna say pues sí. So yeah. But even if he's saying on its own, it sounds ps. Sí. Okay. Another one. Ps.
Proyecto ya había firmado, dije, pues va a ser difícil, ¿no? Proyecto ya había firmado, dije, pues va a ser difícil.
Dije, pues va a ser difícil. But instead of pues va a ser difícil, so it's going to be hard, he's saying, dije, pues va a ser difícil. Okay? Ps. Again. Now, Spain.
Pues vengo con alguien.
Here, he's saying the pues, same as this other person said it, just at the beginning, on its own, but still. Pues. I wrote a u, but he's not really saying pus. He's saying like pues. He's adding a little vowel in between the p and the s. Like in Mexican examples, it was just ps. Here's like pues vengo con alguien. So I'm coming with someone. Pues vengo con alguien. Okay? And the next one.
Es decir, pues probablemente el aula.
Okay.
Pues probablemente.
He's saying pues probablemente. Well, probably. Pues probablemente. He's not only saying pues, but it's not really pues, it's like pues probablemente. He's making it softer and lower. Lower meaning not touching so much. So when he's doing this, he's like pues probablemente, really lazy. Pues here, okay? Pues probablemente. But again, it's really, really common, okay? It's a word that we say so much, and many times it just has no meaning. Okay, so what happens with pues? What is the pattern here with pues? That we have u and we have e, which, as I said in the other video, two vowels speaking fast tend to join. Either disappear, or join into like a merge into another sound. Okay. Now, word entonces or entonces, if you're in South America or south of Spain or Canary Islands. Again, here I made only examples from Spain and Mexico because it's the places I've heard it the most. These are also the accents that I analyze the most, so that's why I just give examples from this. But if you find other accents saying entonces, like, I'll show you, send them over to me because I'm really interested. Okay, entonces. This is another word that could be a filler word, like not really meaning anything, like so, because it's actually another way of saying so. But entonces also means then. Well, it actually just means then, because you can say, okay, then I'll do it. Or you can say, it was back then, you know? That's what entonces means. Okay? So, let's start with España.
Entonces, esa nominación, y con esto acabo.
Right. Again, this word at the beginning, on its own, not really smushed together. You know, they had time to say it, but because it's a word that we say so much.
Entonces.
What we're hearing here is toes, okay? And it's actually the way that I've heard the most people say it, because when I started analyzing all this, then I can't help analyzing also my friends and people that that speak with me, and everyone says toes, okay? It's not entonces, it's toes. Okay, let's hear another example.
Tampoco quería dejarla para otro día, entonces digo.
Okay, this is really fast.
Tampoco quería dejarla para otro día, entonces digo.
Entonces digo, then I didn't want to leave it for another day, so then I say something like this. Entonces digo. This is not really there. It's just a little bit. Entonces digo. Basically, entonces digo. Okay? He said it a little bit more than the other one. And then she said it even more. I also heard this version a lot.
Entonces
la primera vez. So the first time.
Entonces la primera vez.
Entonces la primera vez. Instead of entonces. Entonces. It's such a long word to have as a filler word that it just needs to be easier. It cannot have so many phonemes together. Entonces. Okay? But Mexicans go even further. We say some vowels, but they, like the ps from pues, they go ts as well. Check this out.
Entonces el ukulele se quedó en una esquina y obviamente nunca aprendí.
Well, this is a super fast sentence, but let's just focus on the beginning.
Entonces el ukulele.
So he's saying, entonces el ukelele, but el ukulele, el ukulele, I think he says.
Entonces el ukulele.
I really like this. Okay, next.
No, justamente entonces.
Let's hear it slower.
No, justamente entonces.
He's doing like a glottal thing, like in English when you say curtain, mountain. This kind of weird thing. He's doing the same.
Entonces.
He's saying so. Entonces.
No, justamente
entonces. Okay, let's see the other one from Mexico.
Los dos en inglés. Entonces dije, bueno,
Actually, he's saying tss, zzz, tss, dije. Here, he made the s into a z because after there's a voiced sound. So he's saying, instead of tss, he's like tss, all right, like merging all together. Okay? Tss dije. Bueno. So I said, all right. Last one.
Entonces, claro, esta relación.
Claro. And here, because it's a k and it's unvoiced, differently from the which is voiced, it kept the s. Okay? Claro. What's the pattern with entonces? is just making it shorter. Do anything you can to not say so many syllables. Just make it ergonomic. It's claro. Okay. Okay, and the last one, the verb poder. Poder, to be able to. We say it so much. There are two things happening here. One, that it's really, really common and you say it a lot. You know, no puedo comer, no puedo cantar, no puedo bailar. I cannot do this, I cannot do that, you know? So it's really understandable even if we say it differently. And it has a D within vowels. And what happens when you have a D within vowels? It tends to disappear if it's a word that you're not emphasizing, okay? So, let's start with Mexico.
No puedo contar mucho porque el partido va a salir allá en 2 semanas. No puedo contar mucho. No puedo contar mucho.
No puedo contar mucho. No puedo contar mucho. I cannot tell you too much. No puedo contar mucho. What happened here? The we, the diphthong we, became o. Okay? And the disappeared. So, no puedo contar mucho. Let's see another one.
No la voy a hacer.
Here is podía.
No la voy a hacer.
No la voy a hacer.
No la voy a hacer.
No la puedo hacer. I couldn't do it. No la podía hacer. What happened? The D's disappeared. This is the most common thing that happens. D's disappearing. Okay. Panamá.
También vas a poder ver que el video... También vas a poder ver que... Vas a poder ver... Vas a poder ver...
Va a poder ver. Va a poder ver. Vas a poder ver. Va a poder ver. Instead of poder, the D disappearing. And one more from Spain.
Tu vida puede ser increíble. Tu vida puede ser, vida puede ser, vida puede ser, vida puede ser.
Tu vida puede ser increíble. Your life can be amazing, incredible. Tu vida puede ser increíble. Instead of puede, puede ser increíble. The D disappears and the two E's left join. Okay? Puede ser increíble. So, patterns in poder, the D out. And then if there are two vowels together, also they tend to merge into just one. Okay? Okay, so this is all the words that I've recollected or collected. There are more. There are a lot more, but these are so common and we use them so much. It's going to be really easy now for you to recognize them. But the key for recognizing now these words is to first, as always, go on the lookout for examples. Watch a lot of content and listen to a lot of people and really pay attention on how they merge and contract. Then if you hear one of these sounds like ts or ps or pue or something like that, see if it makes sense with the context and if it's entonces or pues or todo or nada. Practice. The first video, the first clip thing that I said at the beginning, you can download it and really pay attention and see if you can find these words into that clip. I hope that this has been helpful and that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, click the like button as well and share it with whomever you think is going to enjoy it as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!